Hello and welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where Fridays in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe Montgomery and I'm joined by Indie Darling.
Kayla Dye.
She insists of being...
You're nice to me.
You insist on being a darling of the indie scene, so...
It's great, I think, when you think about it, how much stuff you can just say about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the darling of many things.
And you're the indie scene's many other things.
I'm like, I wonder when... Yeah, when do I get an expiry date on referring to myself as a rising star? At what point am I supposed to have risen? And I'm either just a regular star, or I'm not a star.
Like...
Is it when they announce this year's, like, new emerging designers that I'm then like, okay, I've done it now.
You have emerged, yes.
Yeah. I've emerged or I have failed to emerge. Only
time can tell.
Yeah.
You're like a blossoming butterfly who might get trapped in your cocoon.
Oh, I don't want to get trapped in a cocoon. Sounds like it would be
tight
and so hard to move.
You must emerge.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to emerge.
So this week we got a new house. We're still renting, but it's still progress.
You got a new house. I'm still in the same one.
Yeah, we as in me and Alyssa, not we as in us two. But I'm sure we can kick Alexander out and you can come live with us. But yeah, no, we did a big shop at IKEA yesterday. I'm very tired.
How's the new house?
It's very nice. I'm annoyed that we don't have a fridge or a washing machine or anything in the house.
Oh, that does sound annoying.
We have to get
I've also... Yeah, in the long run, I do feel like it's also useful. Because, like, unfurnished places are usually cheaper. But, like, the reason that's difficult is you then, like, moving is expensive. So, like, I feel like once you've got all the stuff once, like, that's actually kind of good in the long run for you. But also, I have no idea how much a fridge costs. Because even this place is unfurnished, but, like, did come with a fridge.
It's like
which
300, 400 quid,
freezing.
But you can get them on credit, so...
Yeah, they're, like, made for credit, almost.
So we're going to be paying...
You know, you can buy things from my store on credit just because of how PayPal, or just because of how Stripe is set up, and it's like, yeah, I really want to buy The Story of a Story, a game that costs £5 plus shipping, and I want to split that over 3 months. You're welcome to do
Klarna.
that. You had a couple of different ideas.
Yes, Alyssa
and I also have one weird
went a bit
idea.
crazy with ideas. And I think she sent them to me. Let me have a look.
Classic crazy Alyssa.
Yes, so Alyssa said the words ballistic bliss while trying to say domestic bliss. So what is ballistic bliss, Kayla?
That's so telling of her. What is ballistic bliss? I mean, just as me checking my understanding of words, ballistic means, like, relating to bullets, right?
Yes. Or rockets, or projectiles.
I feel it's like... Well, I guess in that case, it's like the opposite of a bullet hell game. Bullet heaven.
Yeah. What does that mean?
These are wonderful questions that you continue to ask me, Chloe, and I'm going to answer you eventually.
But you're just going to vamp for 2 minutes while you think of something.
Yeah, ballistic bliss. Is it about being a bullet? I think you are the bullet. But once again, I still don't know what that means. But I think you are the bullet. Come on, you've got, like, at some point, I'm providing some things. At some point, you've got to jump in and try and save me. This is a 2-person show.
It's been said. You play as a bullet, and you live in a cartridge or a magazine, or whatever you call a thing where there's a bunch of bullets in it. You get loaded into a gun, and that gun is your home. and it's about being a nice little domestic family with the other 8 bullets in the 9mm gun on a policeman's hip or something. And it's a game about like family life and family drama, but at any point one of your family members can get shot at somebody and they're just gone forever.
Yeah, you like weird family drama stuff.
Yeah. It's okay. Okay, let's move away from that then. So, ballistic bliss in my head.
I don't. I've just noticed it when you said this. I'm like, oh, you're big into like, oh, it's slice of weird life.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, my idea with ballistic bliss was like it's a war story where it's a tower defense game where half the time you're building your towers, but the other half you're like living in the bunker with your other soldiers or whatever.
Yeah, that could work because it is about the domestic bliss on the ballistic battlefield.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna check if there is any other definition for ballistic that we might have
going crazy, insane, mad. Going ballistic.
Moving under the force of gravity. Oh yeah, ballistic bliss. Ooh, in that case, maybe like because bliss and then ballistic, like they feel like the extremes. Like I feel if someone says like how they feel and they're experiencing bliss as opposed to like I don't know, just joy or something, it's the extreme, and the way ballistic is the extreme. So maybe I'm thinking of like the emotion nights in Diosync, but maybe it's like a game where you're playing characters who can only experience like the most extremes of emotion.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a weird cyberpunk thing. I'm now thinking of Gridlock.
I was thinking of the Gridlock
episode
because Bliss 3. Is the patch that kills everybody.
Yeah, so what I'm like is I think it's like, yeah, you are someone who you live in a world where emotions are suppressed and you like just by nature of fact, but you get street drugs which give you back emotions, but they're always in the most extreme.
Yeah.
So you're getting bliss, you're getting going ballistic. And it's a game all about having to grapple the extremes of emotion because that is better than feeling numb. And it's only through the extremes that you might be able to get the sort of more measured stuff, but you're not going to ever get control on emotion by suppressing it.
I like this. I think on a gameplay sense, it's maybe a bit similar to that Cursed Console, but rather than like stickering over your playbook, you have a basic one where you can do very little things, but then, I'm taking ballistic, so I'm going to grab the ballistic playbook from the middle of the table where there's a bunch of printouts, and suddenly for the next 5 actions or whatever, I can use anything off this playbook.
Yeah, I think it's something that like you're always in one emotional state, so like I was initially imagining them more as like stats than individual playbooks, but playbooks also works. But it's
I think they have stats
you just
involved,
only have access to one at a time. Yeah. But I was thinking of the way like the stats in like Monster Hearts are like cold, dark, hot, and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think like the stats maybe are emotions, but then it's just the fact that like you don't have access to some of them. At certain times, you can only ever access like one at a time. But also, I do enjoy playbook. Do we call this just Ballistic Bliss because that's a good name?
I like the idea of it being like the name of one of these street drugs that gives you these emotions.
Yeah. Black Market Feelings is also, I feel, a fun name.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd at least read the blurb on that.
Yeah. This feels like something I might end up doing. Because it's
that's
high
the Game
concept.
Soup seal of approval.
Yeah, it's high concept, it's bullshit, and it's all about, like, feelings, which ultimately everything I write is kind of about that.
Yeah, and I
like,
think...
this very much does feel like...
It feels like what?
It feels like a Kayla dice game, whatever that means.
No, I can say it. I think, like, generically the game assumes you're, like, trying to take down these big corporations that are, like, suppressing people's emotions or whatever, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is definitely
maybe you're,
a cyberpunk
like, running
thing.
drugs.
Oh, yeah, you're a drug runner.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I think this is maybe a game where you do actually like write a lot of the setting, and like not just in a big like lore drop, but like you explore a lot of the setting through individual like adventures and stuff and scenarios. So like it could be scenarios where you're doing just like drug running. It could be scenarios where it's like, you know, maybe trying to sort of overturn bits of the government or the system or whatever, as well as maybe, yeah, other sort of scenarios which are maybe more like party focused almost.
Yeah.
I feel I might write this.
Wow.
Because my work in progress doc is so small now.
Oh, because you keep
And it's
fucking
weird.
churning things out
I
and
feel
making it
scared.
impossible for me to release things without feeling like I'm over saturating the market.
We can release things at the same time. You
No,
can
we
release.
can't.
You don't need to wait for me to not be releasing something to release Dungeon Country.
I can't
What do you mean, no,
spam
we
this
can't?
feed with adverts.
I've only adverted. We've only adverted Godsling. We've not adverted any of my.
What
other
was
stuff.
last
You
week's
can
episode?
absolutely- Okay, so we did talk about Psycho Dungeon a lot.
For like 20 minutes.
That was the bulk of the episode. I am sorry, but we've not done anything on Ritual Magic or the Hieronymus thing I did.
Okay, well.
I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm gonna drop... What the fuck's it called? Okay, so I've changed the name of Dungeon Country because we realised that the
Ooh,
SEO
yes. Yeah,
on
no, you
Dungeon
did.
Country is dog water. So it's now called No Picnics in the Dungeon because it kind of feels like a light novel title. And that's kind of the anime sort of...
Yeah,
We are ripping off Dungeon Meshi vibe we're going for.
that's a nice title. No Picnics in the Dungeon, which can come out. I promise it can come out at any time. I'm not holding you back.
It's coming out this month, TM. I don't know when. Maybe there'll be an advert in the start of the pod at some point. Stay tuned.
But yeah, my Google Doc, my work in progress Google folder is now down to like 4 things, and admittedly 2 of them are already written. Which, yes, I am aware I just said I have 2 things to write, but maybe I write Black Market Feelings or Ballistic Bliss or whatever.
Yeah. So Alyssa also suggested...
I feel like we've...
Alyssa also suggested Mouse MD, which I think
Because she's getting into House.
She's trying to get into House with Hugh Laurie, and she keeps watching clips because they come up on YouTube Shorts because she doesn't have TikTok for some reason, and it's just very gross. I'm just not into medical dramas. I don't need to see somebody. Corneas.
I also feel like House specifically is a medical drama all about like a guy who's like a malpracticing arsehole, which I feel like I can't find any enjoyment in anymore.
Because he's like Sherlock Holmes.
You know what I mean?
Medicine, yeah.
I feel I have too much negative like medical experiences to find enjoyment in the bad boy doctor.
So, Mouse MD, I think you are ratatouilleing a doctor.
Oh my god, yeah, you're ratatouilleing a doctor.
And it's called
Absolutely.
Medical Mousepractice. And, yeah, you gotta make sure nobody
like,
sees under your doctor hat.
I feel this is a 2-player game. Like, one of you is the mouse, who gets to do all of the actions, and then one of you is the doctor, who obviously does any talking to human characters.
Yeah, I think this is a sort of thing that you do at the table, where it's like, you pick the person who is never the face player, and make them be the doctor, and then that's where all the comedy comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, I guess, like, the mouse doctory actions... I feel like maybe we do have a hospital map here, but, like, I feel we've got to make movement really hard.
Yeah, it's a bit like Octodad.
Yeah. So I feel like all of the movement and stuff is actions, but I also feel like then the like, doctor guy talking, and whether that's, like, bought or not, is really just, like, they have to just act in character, and the, whoever's, like, the GM has to respond in character.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, this hotshot new nurse has suddenly become the chief surgeon. due to nepotism or something, and they have to go around doing all these complicated things, and they don't know shit about medicine. But this mouse controlling them is like the reincarnation of House. I don't know.
Anyone can heal. I think this is like a real sort of black comedy game where like the end result is discovery, probably.
I think it's that one Adventure Time episode where Finn pretends to be a doctor and just breaks everybody's arm.
Yeah, I feel this is like a one-shot game. We make movement really hard, like lots of sort of like fiddly dice rolls.
Yeah.
Which have like, we do something so that the odds of failure are dwindling the more suspicious you get.
I think it's like a dexterity game. You've got to like shuffleboard your dice near to the target, but if you hit the middle, then something goes wrong. I don't know. But you also actually have to roll them.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Shuffleboardy things. Mouse MD. I had an idea, which is another thing of like going from like some kind of setup, and then we've got to figure out what the game we hang on this is.
Okay.
So I do the interview podcast, This Is Your Life Path, which you're on in like 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we record this relative to when this airs. Maybe it's even 2 weeks. You're on around the end of May.
Come out in 2 Saturdays' time, so...
Yeah, so like very soon. But when I interviewed, so in the first episode I interviewed Gormengeist, and one of the things she talked about was like how her game Greed came about, which is like, it was originally a sort of system written by a friend of hers, and they had this dynamic where she would tell him like things that like were broken about the game and exploits or stuff, with this like sort of fair play deal of like, if you don't patch that by the next time we play, I'm gonna use that exploit. Yeah. So I feel like the setup here is a game with like a variety of glitches and stuff that like the GM sort of has like the ability to just like patch out. Maybe because of like, rather than this just being like actually designed as like, you have stickers which can like, you know, or, you know, yeah, you have stickers or labels or whatever which you're allowed to like amend parts of the rules that way. Maybe you only have like this sort of limited number of things you're allowed to do. Like you've got free sticker applications between sessions. And it's sort of this race between like who can find the exploits, the players or the GM. I now have no idea about what the setting of this is, what the setup is, and I bring this to you like a cat holding you a sort of injured mouse. I'm handing you the injured mouse in my teeth and saying, hey, Chloe, now you make the game out of this.
I think this is an expansion for Cursed Console, where you get the expansion pack, which doesn't have a C in it because you got it with Donkey Kong Country, or Donkey Kong 64 rather. But it introduces a bunch of glitches to the game. And it also comes with a Sharpie so that you can cross bits out of the text.
Yeah.
And it introduces the new baddie.
I like this. What do we call it? You called it the expansion pack.
Yeah, but I think...
Glitch, yeah.
I think it would be like test patch do not launch or something.
I was going to say, yeah, also it's something where the acronym is DLC, but the name is very different.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Don't look! Coconuts!
You did it! That's what it's called. We actually do something like this. We have a Magic the Gathering cube, where... So a cube is a collection of cards that you repeatedly, like, make decks out of. Like, you get a random selection of cards, and then you have to make a deck out of these cards. But what we do is you also get some random stickers, which have, like, really cracked keywords on them. Like, oh, this card can ignore creatures or whatever. just as an example, and then you can stick that over text on a card, so you can just remove like negative things about cards, and then you also get a Sharpie so you can cross bits out of text, and it's grown from like a sort of
That's
bad
creepy.
cube of just our favorite cards from the time we made it like 2 years ago to, oh yeah, here's this draft bad card from the Dungeons and Dragons set, except now when you play it you destroy all your opponent's lands or something.
This is now going to be also another question. Can you make an
Yeah.
RPG where like your magic cards are a thing, are a core mechanic?
I'm sure you could. I mean, like the old idea of what you are doing when you're playing Magic is that you are one of the planeswalkers in the lore, and when you play a land and tap it, that's you drawing the mana from that land.
Hmm.
And then when you summon a creature, you're summoning a copy of it from where it lives,
Okay.
and then you're using it to fight the other planeswalkers. So, I mean, that is a very like game as written reading of it. I guess you could do like a like every fight you're summoning monsters or something, or like you. I like the idea of like just in a random D&D shit, one player is just playing Magic, and then oh yeah, so I play
Yeah.
let me look at my pile of Magic cards behind me. I'm gonna play my Goblin Bombardment, so I can sacrifice the Rogue to deal 1 damage to the boss.
Yeah, I feel like there's something about like having to argue what is the application of keywords.
Yeah, okay.
Because like obviously
I'm
all of
gonna
your
summon-
enemies and stuff are not like actual.
They don't have keywords or anything, yeah. I'm going to summon Tatayova, Steward of Tides. So, what's a land creature in Dungeons and Dragons? How does it have flying?
Yeah, it's like any fight. Like you do all of this stuff. Some of these like big sweep things where it's like, oh, sacrifice any of that. It's like, oh, that applies and you get that. But other times it's like, well, I guess you do an attack. This is all of the flavor of your attack, but now you just need to do a normal fucking roll because you weren't able to bullshit the keywords enough.
It's like you always do the damage that the creatures have as their power, but then if they take damage equal to their toughness, they die. I could see this. It's very much a wiggly fingers, make it up as you go sort of game, but
Yeah, I feel we come up with a lot of these on the show, and I feel like actually neither of us are really that kind of game designer.
yeah. If you are that kind of game designer, feel free to make that and credit us. Because we ain't gonna make that.
Yeah. I've now just had a very silly idea. If you're coming to the
Go on,
live Game Soup show in, I guess it's 2 weeks now, bring any magic card you want and we'll try and make a game out of it.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
steal
on the
that card
spot
and
make a
put it
game.
into Grafter's Cube.
What if it's bad?
Good. The entrance fee for
I've
Grafter's Cube is one of your favourite cards. So people just be bringing, like, oh, it's some nonsense card from like 12 years ago that never saw play. Cool, that's in the cube forever now.
Yeah. But I love it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for listening to Game Soup.
Thank you.